Hi, welcome to the VNN. My name is Sudhir Anand, and we welcome you to this new interview session. We are fortunate to have with us today Honorable Neena Tangri ji, Ontario Associate Minister of Small Businesses and Red Tape Reduction, and MPP for the Mississauga Seatville. Mr. Tangri has been doing some wonderful work. Her portfolio, and we welcome her to the VNN studio. Welcome, Neena ji.
Well, thank you, Sudhir ji. First, I want to tell everyone from VNN, Sastika, Namaskar, or Adab, and thank you for all the wonderful work that all of you are doing.
So let us begin. Though this is a little controversial, the trucker protest. I know, the government has taken a stand, the PC party took a stand, and the Premier has, imposed an emergency. So what do you have to say?
So look, in Canada, we all have the absolute right to protest, albeit must be peacefully. And, anybody, whether it's truckers or anyone else that wants to come to either our legislative building, parliament buildings, or elsewhere, do have the right to do that. Having said that, it has to be peaceful. It has to be in a way that doesn't stop people from going about their everyday life, such as going to a restaurant, getting groceries, going to work, needing to go to the hospital. So because of what was happening, where there was a lot of time where they're spending outside certain places, it was holding people back, especially from going to work, and for families it was very difficult. There was a lot of noise taking place throughout the night, disturbing people during their sleep, or disturbing people trying just to get out and do their everyday life. So the emergency measures that we actually in Ontario have provided allowed us to open up the Ambassador Bridge, which was so important. We had thousands of trucks that were waiting to get across the border, and the issue with that is that our supply chain was really being impacted. So food, other supplies for our homes, but when we think about things like medical supplies and many other things that were being held up at the border, and even if they moved it to another location, say from the Ambassador Bridge to Buffalo, the time that it takes to do that and the extra cost, well, those extra costs are going to be passed on to the consumer, and we're seeing how prices are going up so much. So we really needed to take action to try and allow our goods to cross the border and get to the shelves where we can pick them up.
Yeah, that is true. Definitely, the blockage of the roads and the highways cannot be seen as a protest or agitation. It has to be seen as a negative impact on the communities. So next we will go with the, as we all know, the restrictions being eased for the COVID-19. How will a small business which have borne the brunt start functioning again?
I think, Sudhiji, it's just so important that we recognize the work that everyone's done, where it's the everyday people, all of our businesses, especially our small businesses who've suffered significantly throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. So as we have, with the advice of the Chief Medical Officer of Health, together with the health table and talking to many businesses out there, we've been able to now, as we see Omicron somewhat lessening, our hospital ICU capacity, our hospitalizations, they are coming down. So we've been able to reopen our province a little bit more. We're doing it cautiously, we're doing it somewhat slower, but we're doing it in a way so we don't have to go back. I think what's more important is we don't go back to lockdowns. Yeah. So the way things are going right now, it's very positive. We are able to reopen, and it'd be great now that our restaurants can have more people come in and eat there. Our gyms are reopen. Most places are now fully reopened 100% with some limitations with capacity limits across the board.
So by 28th of this month, February 2022, there's a chances of opening all those things in a complete pre-pandemic level.
So that's maybe not fully to a pre-pandemic level, but the hope is that on March the 1st we'll really be able to ramp things up. Now that all really depends on what happens, of course, in this next 2 weeks, that our hospitalizations continue to decline, the spread of COVID, of course, and remember we do have children in school too, so we want to make sure we keep everybody safe. But all the metrics are going in the right direction, and so as long as our health table, the doctors, Dr. Moore, our Chief Medical Officer of Health, and as we take it through and we continue to monitor, We're very hopeful that we'll be able to almost fully reopen come March 1st.
Okay, that's nice. Very nice to know. We are, listening from the horse's mouth, I would say. So let's come to the, employers rebate, safe employers rebate program. How it will benefit the economy?
So we've been hearing, I mean, long before we were elected, we were hearing from many businesses where the WSIB premiums were just going up significantly. And, even for those businesses who've had no claims, they've got a very, very safe record. They've been, they're good employers. They're making sure that their employees are kept safe on the job. So we felt it was unfair to continue to increase their premiums so significantly the way that they were with the previous government. So we've been able to take that extra funding that we have in that fund, in the WSIB fund, and return some of that money to some of those good employers.
So people, those are being sending that money or funding that scheme in the employment scheme for the employees. So they will get some benefit which will come to the company, employer, or it will go to the employees.
So anytime when businesses can save money, and this is what this is, it allows them to not have to pay as much. They can reinvest in their businesses. They can hire more people. They can upgrade their technology. There's many things that they can do when we put more money back into their pockets. And that's, I've mentioned that reinvesting in new technology to keep their employees more safe is one area where a lot of them have shown us that they've been able to spend those refund dollars that we've been able to give to them in the past.
Okay, that's nice to know. And there are companies that you are focusing only on Mississauga. There are some complaints also. The Brampton Council says, why no action is being on the demand for the hospital while Mississauga is always getting more funds and another new hospital?
So Mississauga is not getting a new hospital. We're actually rebuilding our very somewhat old hospital. So the Trillium site, the 202 older hospitals, the one that's in Etobicoke and the one on the Trillium Queensway site are going to have a rebuild, and there's some more beds being increased at the Credit Valley site as well. Now Brampton, however, is actually getting a lot of funding towards the current urgent care centre that they have is now 24/7. I was always, as soon as I was elected and I visited that facility I was doing a ride along with the paramedics, and they were telling me that it's only open during business hours, which really didn't make a lot of sense. So we were able to get that up and running as a real urgent care centre for people to use, so they didn't have to go to the hospital late at night. And then, of course, we're adding many more beds out at the Osler location as well. And of course, in turn with that, we're giving funding for a new university. There's a lot happening in Brampton. So I know I've had many conversations with Mayor Brown, and he's actually very happy that we're investing as much as we are into Brampton.
But sometimes we feel it is too late with what is happening now. It's too late. And by the time university will have a completion, or the new hospital which they're planning, or new facility, what they are doing in terms of extending the capacity of the hospital, will take 3 to 5 years.
Well, it always takes time to build new infrastructure. The dollars have been allocated, and there's a time lag where you have to go to the suppliers and the vendors for a request for proposal as they quote and show us how much it will cost to build. So that is in the process right now. So we started that right away, and as time's going along, we will be able to get the shovels in the ground, as they say, to start getting these facilities built. We can't just think about the short term too. We have to think about long term, and not just for us and our children, but their children as well. So as Brampton is growing, as Mississauga is growing, as Ontario is growing, and we have more immigration and more people coming, we need more housing, we need more hospitals, schools. The whole of the infrastructure has to be taken into account, and not just one part of that. Because as we grow, the needs grow too.
Definitely, yes. And Brampton is a city which is growing like at the rapid speed. Next, we want to ask you that you have an appreciation week for non-profit sector. You tweeted about that. How are these organizations benefiting the economy?
Yeah, so I really want to thank one of my MPPs, Daisy Way. She wanted to show a recognition for our non-profit sector. When we think about our non-profit sector, they do so much for us, and many of the people that are in those sectors are pure volunteers. So the work that they do for our communities is so significant, and the nonprofit sector as a whole just provides so much to our economy. And we wanted to use this week, and like I said, I would want to thank MPP Daisy Way for the work that she's done on getting this bill passed, supported by, of course, all parties. It wasn't just the PC party, but the NDP and the Liberals and the Independents all supported it as well.
No, so you heard it very loud and clear. We all have this, I would say, duty towards the economy, towards the society, towards the people. Should involve with some of the volunteer organization and work for them, so that like we do participate and help any needy person or any needy system which may be benefited from us. So next we will go, this is something little controversial. About 10 Hindu temples have been vandalized in the recent past and cash has been stolen. Ideals are broken, and even Peel police are helpless to do anything, though they did put a detective there to find out that and see like exactly if all the temples things are being stolen are in the same pattern or different pattern. They don't mention Hindu temple in any of those press releases. They say that it is not a hate crime, and if it was a mosque or any other religious place, the reaction would be different.
Yes, so I mean, we've noticed over the last few weeks, it's actually been happening since I think November of 2021, where we've seen break-ins to a number of Hindu temples, and it seems like they're strictly going for the donation boxes and for cash, which is why it's the Peel Regional Police feel that it's not a hate crime, but easy way for them to steal money. Having said that, just last night I did do a webinar with Peel Regional Police and many members of the Hindu temple community. And so they did update us on the investigation. There actually was blood found at one of the locations, so that blood is being tested as we speak. So they do believe that once they have that sample back, they may be able to identify one of the perpetrators of the crimes. But they are working diligently. They are patrolling the areas of the temples more. But they do believe, and they're pretty confident that they will find out who is doing this. But there was no reason, there's been no graffiti or anything along the lines to say that it was a specific hate crime towards the Hindu community. Having said that, we still need to know who this perpetrator is. Apparently, as they're going into the temple, they're taking off their shoes. So the police seem to feel that because they're doing that is somewhat respectful. But, when you're going to steal from a temple, I highly don't believe that is a respectful act in any way. Based on what's been happening in the Hindu temples and to churches, mosques, temples, gurdwaras, anywhere, there has been hate crime. We've seen it, and it's not acceptable for any community. And our government does recognize that, which is why we have a grant program available for them to be able to upgrade their security for any anti-hate community work that they can do. So I do encourage all of the temples and gurdwaras and mosques and synagogues, churches, to apply for this funding. This is your money, so that you can upgrade the security. My biggest concern actually about it's not just the money, that is also a big issue, but in the temples, most of them have a priest or a number of priests that sleep there. So these are taking place in the middle of the night, and I'm really concerned that, for example, if they break into one of the temples and a priest wakes up and sees them and maybe confronts them, it could be a lot worse. We could potentially see significant violence, and hopefully no one's lives will be in danger. So up to now, that has not happened, but that is my big concern, and I relayed that to the police last night. That is another reason why they really need to take action. It's similar like being at home. If someone comes to rob you while you're asleep at home, that is extremely frightening, and it's shaken the community a lot. So upgrade your security systems, empty your donation boxes out every day, put it in a safe if best possible, take it to the bank, get it deposited so it's not there. So it's a deterrent. If there's no money there, they won't come back to the temples.
And that is true. As what you rightly said, it is a danger for the people, those are around there, sleeping there. If they confront with the person who is coming to steal the money or any of the gold or jewelry or whatever, so it is going to be fatal. It is very, very bad situation could happen.
Absolutely.
Taking this further, as what you know, the NDP members bill to declare the swastika as a hate symbol. Hindus, Buddhists and Jains use it. Don't they know that real Nazi symbol is called something else, not swastika?
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it directly. Somebody sent it to me, and I've asked them to send me more information on this. And as we know, in Hinduism and Jainism, swastik is a religious symbol of Ganesh. So we use that as part of our prayers every day. So I do need more clarification to see what this is and why they're bringing it about. I understand that in the Nazi way of showing a deformed swastik, known as the swastika in common knowledge, that it is used for hate, especially hate towards Jews. So I think we need more information, and more importantly, we need to educate the public on what it is, on what is the Ganesh symbol, what is that swastik, and how and why the Nazis took that symbol and made it into something that was so severely hatred towards the Jewish community. And I think that education is more important than just having something banned.
See, sometimes some of the party members, doesn't matter which party it is, they're motivated to do something towards one community or one country or one set of people. So even if you want to educate them, they do not want to listen anything. They don't want to do nothing that way, and they will take that agenda and move on. So then it becomes very difficult. I mean, we try to have a harmonized kind of environment across our community, across Canada for that matter. This is an adopted land. We came here, we want to live peacefully, we want to give better education and better values to the people or our family and other in society. So if these kind of activities are being taken place at the parliament, then things are little I mean, what I say, difficult.
No, I completely agree, Sudhirji. I think the issue we face is we have to understand here in Canada, and there's no doubt in my mind this is the best place in the world to live, to own a business, to raise your family and to work. And we need to, I think we can show the world on how you can live in harmony and peacefully together, and to use platforms sometimes for political reasons is very inappropriate, and I've seen it many times in the legislature and in the parliament. So I think we need to understand and make sure that what we're bringing forward in our government houses is relative to our lives here in Canada, rather than using it maybe for political reasons.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that we have that going forward. I think that is just so important.
So important. Though it may not affect individually or personally to me or most of the people for that matter, but why we go into that direction which may hurt some people's sentiments and those things. With this note, thank you very much, Neena ji. You came to our office and you have spoken with your heart open, with those details, with knowledge and information. Those temples who seek to have some kind of funding for them for their security cameras and security enhancement, they can contact. I will give you the number to Neena's office or the other details which you can probably will find on the scroll on the screen, and you can contact them directly. You can go there, fill up your applications, and if you have any problem, any trouble, please do connect with Neena Tangri's office. So with this note, thank you very much, Neena ji, for coming to our studio.
Thank you so much.